Some of us are familiar with the story of the monkey's paw, a short story about a person who comes across a cursed talisman that fulfills their every wish, but not without its own price. The story reminds us that manipulating the forces of nature to serve our end may come with unintended consequences. For his first wish, Mr. White asked for enough money to pay off his mortgage, something along the lines of 200 British pounds. A small asking considering the unlimited capacity of human desire. Lo and behold, he receives the money, but in the most unexpected and horrifying way. Through bereavement compensation, after his son Herbert is killed in an accident at the factory where he works. Stunned and unsettled by this event, Mrs. White uses the second wish and attempts to use the monkey's paw to bring her son back to life. Later that night, a rapping at the door can be heard. Mrs. White scrambles to the door and attempts multiple times to unlock it and open it, believing that it is her deceased son on the other side. Mr. White panics, trying desperately to find the monkey's paw in order to wish the unwelcome guest away. He makes the wish just as Mrs. White has figured out how to open the final lock. Swinging the door open, all that can be seen is the cold open air of the night. The story leaves us wondering, was it really Herbert on the other side of the door? Or was all this just a coincidence? Even the untimely death at the factory feels like it could have just been a simple, random event and not caused by the monkey's paw. When creating the story of Herbert Undead, the writers wanted to write from the point of view of Herbert, that it is not simply a coincidence, but in fact Herbert White has come back from the grave because of the mysterious powers of the monkey's paw. They wanted to write a story about what it must have been like for the missing Herbert as he crawled out of the grave and into the dark country roadside, making his journey back home. Shifting to this character's point of view raised a series of unexamined questions. What went through Herbert's mind? What did he have to say? How would he be perceived by his grieving parents? With horror? With glee? What if he encountered someone on his way back home? The writers thought about this and wanted to move in a completely different direction. Instead of an isolatory stream of consciousness walk back to the countryside home, a complete misadventure that takes him across multiple settings, meeting new characters and new problems along the way. This is the story of Herbert Undead, a comedy about the deceased Herbert White, who is trying to remember who he is, and his inevitable return back home on that fateful night.